We have a bunch of weak, feckless leaders
Wide
creating
around
hard
the
times
event.
right now.
What the fuck is going
Will
on?
you let me
right
Do
now?
we take him out to a farm and shoot him?
No spin, no filters, just the real conversation.
I hope it's not short-lived, man.
Let me tell you about a man whose influence extends far beyond Wall Street. He's not just a hedge fund titan. He's a political power player who's used his fortune and voice to push for major change. A Harvard graduate with an unmatched talent for turning bold investments into billions. He's also a key figure in the Democratic circles. You might remember him for making headlines when he turned a $20 million bet into a $2.6 billion windfall during the COVID-19 crash. But behind the scenes, he's been funneling millions into Democratic causes and candidates, quietly shaping policy and strategy. He's a staunch supporter of progressive ideals, advocating for housing reform, political transparency, and he's made it clear that he's in lockstep with the Democratic establishment. His activism goes beyond the boardroom, whether it's speaking out on economic inequality, pushing for tax reforms, or rubbing shoulders with the DNC elite. He's a man who knows how to wield power in both the financial and political arenas. And now, if you haven't guessed it yet, the man who's been shaking up both Wall Street and Washington is Bill Ackman. And to borrow from Kamala Harris, Bill Ackman is turning the page. Today, Ackman now says the Democratic Party's policies are so destructive that they're indistinguishable from what our worst enemies would do to destroy America from within. Incredible. Just like you were saying.
Incredible.
It started with Tulsi, and now we're at Bill Ackman.
Just the domino starts, man. Pop, 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 pop.
He gave 33 examples. He gave 33 examples. Some of these are crazy.
I love seeing it.
Is it enough?
And this is like the quiet before the storm. Okay. We are seeing people talk about this stuff outside of the public sphere because it's very unpopular to be for Donald Trump. But I think everybody's kind of just fed up with the direction of the country, right? Like Brett Baer's interview, he said 79% of the United States is sick of the direction that we are currently in.
A random poll on YouTube that I took place in. We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
189,000 people participated. 2% voted said that they were going to vote for Kamala. 98% of 189,000 people on some random poll on YouTube from some random channel that I've never heard of are pro-Trump. That is crazy numbers. The only reason it's unpopular to talk about and be friends with or talk kindly about Trump is because of legacy media. That's it. It's the only reason. And because of Google and Facebook, those assholes, same deal.
Yeah. Yep.
I saw... So, did you see the videos, by the way, of him in, like we talked about yesterday a little bit, but of him just the candid videos, not the big ones, not the big videos that made it onto the mainstream, but just the behind the scenes views of him in the McDonald's yesterday?
Yeah, I did. And he was lovely.
He was just a great dude.
The people that were driving up to the window and he was having a candid moment with, like it was the equivalency of kissing babies back in the day.
Yep.
It was just a beautiful moment.
It was
a political campaign, and the left is losing their freaking minds about it because they can recognize how much of an impact it had.
Yeah, it was a huge impact.
And they're like, "Oh, it was staged." Yeah,
it totally was staged.
Obviously, dude. But none of the people were paid actors.
No.
He still hasn't gotten pegged with pegged actors like the Democrats have.
No. I think my favorite part of that whole thing, it was just like an off comment that he made. Like he was like kind of under his breath, and like he was making fries, right? Which is part of the whole shtick. He was making fries. He's like, "Hey, you know what? This kid's actually a really good trainer." And he wasn't saying it to him. He wasn't saying it to a camera. It was just something that came out of his mouth, and that kid was like, "You're like, oh shit."
The president just complimented me.
Yeah. And it was like for no reason. He was looking away from the cameras, away from the mics. He was looking into the fry station, and I was like, "Wow, that was just authentic."
Yeah,
it was nice.
My favorite part was like, and no human hands has touched the fries. I was like, he is such a germaphobe, dude.
Yep. I mean, so am I.
I get it.
Hate it.
I'll eat a fry off a floor. I don't care. I'm a savage.
Yeah. I couldn't. I mean, I could. But I'd rather not.
Yeah. So, in that line of reasoning, I've watched another small little interview with Tyrus, right?
Who's Tyrus?
And so Tyrus, he is a co-host of Gutfeld on late night. He's the old bodyguard for oh my God, Prince.
Okay.
Huge dude, right?
Right.
Funny, wholesome. He did an interview with Donald Trump, and it was such a touching interview. And he's like, I have hundreds of people that you have helped in your career, in your lifetime, in this notebook paper, and you don't talk about any of them. Why don't you talk about them? And he's like, I'm not talking about them because I don't want to use them for political gain, basically, right? But he's like, I've got paid mortgages, I've got medical bills, I've got life-changing shit in this document. He's like, you don't talk about any of it. And he was like frustrating for him because he's like, why don't you talk about this stuff?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it was, I'm going to send it to you. It was a really, really cool interview to like see. And I think this is the second time that he's had a conversation with Tyrus. So I don't know. It's really nice. It's really nice to see more of that side of Donald Trump, because it validates my biases, I guess. Because I was like, there's no way he's this awful human being, right? There's no way he is as awful as everybody's making him out to be. Because I was like watching it in real time, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it kind of goes into what I really wanted to talk about today, right? Is because like, why was the left so hell-bent on getting rid of Donald Trump? Okay. Like, we saw record levels of corruption being thrown at this dude. Why was this a make or break for the Democratic Party? Why did they have to like pull every trump card they had in the deck out to get rid of Donald Trump? Right. And my mind immediately goes to money, because that's just my perspective. I think that that's the way the world works, and money is power, and everybody is doing something in their lives for money. Right. And so I kind of assume that money is what everybody's motivation is, really, deep down inside. And my wife proves me wrong with that shit all the time, but neither here nor there. So I just have to assume that Donald Trump is messing with people's bottom lines in the government. And it's the military-industrial complex. It's big pharma. It's big ag. Everybody. He's even messing with the CIA, because like when he was in office, he was starting to use private intelligence agencies instead of the CIA.
Right.
You know, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is huge for me, right? That is just, there's no way that he got this much hate and discontent as a normal president, as a normal person, right? The guy came in a complete amateur. He found something within the United States government, and he started getting rid of it, draining the swamp as he wanted to do. And that really started fucking with him.
So
we saw all of the election interference. We saw all of this other bullshit. It ended up with a bullet piercing his ear and Jesse waking up.
You know, that I don't know how to describe that. Because I mean, you have to understand, right? I'm on the left. I'm consuming the left's material. I'm consuming what I believe to be neutral material. Like, I'm staying away from CNN and obviously MSNBC, CBS, ABC, all of those I'm not even listening to. I'm trying to focus on just very neutral things, which I believed and perceived to be AP, NPR, Reuters, things like that. And it was just all indoctrinating the same thing. Orange man bad, orange man bad. Doesn't matter what it was, orange man bad. And it goes all the way back, started in 2015, 2016 with the DNC colluding with media outlets to favor Hillary Clinton during the Democratic primaries, right? They were doing everything they can to ensure that she would not make it through the primaries, that Trump wouldn't make it through. And What'd he do? he went Republican super early because it's like, well, hey, look at this fractured party. Look at these guys. They don't got their shit together. Then, of course, the Obama administration launched that stupid Russian interference campaign trying to keep him out, which we found out was a complete hoax, right? As Trump likes to say, Russia, Russia, Russia. Complete hoax. Right. There was nothing found.
A complete hoax. And those are some of the biggest arguments that me and Jesse got into for years was the Steele dossier.
That's not even right yet.
And whether or not AP was biased.
So this is pre-Steele dossier. So this is just the Obama administration claiming Russian interference. All right. Then you move into the Fusion GPS DNC Hillary campaign. Those three agencies then funded the Steele dossier. Okay. Media outlets picked this up and just went crazy with it. Impeachment attempts, already started coming up. It was also during this time that we started what do you call it? The manufactured chaos for Trump. That's when that started picking up. And we're still in 2016. This is where they came out with the Access Hollywood tape, where they started reviewing that. Yeah. They started doing the whole grab them by the pussy thing. James Comey launched Operation Crossfire Hurricane to investigate the alleged ties in Trump with his and Russia, in Trump's campaign in Russia. It doesn't stop. Jill Stein jumps on board, right? She wanted a recount in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, claiming voter irregularities. She wanted to illegitimize those counts to keep him out of office. Jill Stein, for God's sakes. The Green Party is now in on this. Like, you think if anything, they would abstain or try to do something. No. And the list goes on and on and on and on. It's a crazy list. We could spend the next hour going through this one list alone.
We could spend the rest of this week.
It's insane.
About it every day.
And this is why. And so the question you originally asked, why are we talking about this? To bring it back is, what is the DNC, the left, all these institutions? Bill Ackman was a part of it. Why are they spending all this money, all this time, all this effort to keep Trump out of office?
Right.
I think so. There's only one answer: is that he is
$1 million question.
I think it's only one, and I honestly believe it's because he's an outsider, and they don't want him playing his game. They don't want him in their backyard. He doesn't want them running the show, because then he's going to see all the corruption, and he's going to start dealing with it. It's all in the system, and it's even worse now. Now you have RFK, Elon Musk, Callie and Casey Means. It is not looking good if you're a corrupt insider right now. You count yourself lucky if you don't get prosecuted. But for fuck sure, your agency is likely going to be completely axed. We have 400 agencies we don't need.
People freaking not just thrown in jail, but tossed to the wolves.
Soon. I mean, it could happen. It really depends on how, I don't know how vindictive Trump is. So that's another problem, is you only got 4 years. Do you want to spend those 4 years prosecuting, or do you want to spend those 4 years inoculating the government from further corruption?
That's where I hope that he spends his time. What I want Donald Trump to do is focus his time on moving forward and really protecting our country. Let the American people and everyone else that wants to see justice happen get the corruption from what's happened from the last decade out. Let us spin our wheels. Let us do that. I want him to use his fucking big ass brain and figure out how we prevent this from ever happening again. Put the right justices in, get the right judges, do whatever we need to do to make America our priority, not the rest of the world, not rich people. America.
So there is the immediate problem, right? Is that he's got 4 years to do this. And you have how many people? So you got 100 senators and 650 representatives, however many representatives we have. So that is, we're talking about 1,000 people that he basically has to have kicked out. Because all of these people are on the take for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of them.
Look at the insider trade. Let's look at insider trading. I guarantee you every single person that's in power right now is insider trading or following each other's trades. Fuck, we could all just follow Nancy Pelosi. Yes. There's sites out there dedicated to it. So I don't know, man. Like, I really, truly hope he doesn't get bogged down in the bullshit. I hope he just keeps looking forward like he's been doing for the last year and focusing on what the American people need. That's the man I'm voting for. That's the man I want to see in office. That's the guy, that I'm really, really hoping just charges forward and really, really takes it to the corruption in this country by making it just better.
Who is, I can't remember the guy's name. Josh Hawley, Senator Josh Hawley out of Maine. Okay. Yeah. So this dude is maybe one of the only people that's not on the take. All right. This dude, Missouri.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Hawley, he's a senator out of Missouri. This dude, he's only 44 years old. He does not have he does not have an 8-figure, backing like the rest of his peers do. And he is actively trying to ensure that insider trading is completely banned in the Senate. He doesn't want to see any of that shit. And he is tired of people taking money from big interest. He's over it. And so he will not be moved.
See the lobbyists gone.
He will not be moved by anybody, nor will he hear. No, he doesn't even take meetings from lobbyists. It's like, no.
Good.
And so we got him. Okay.
Now
we got to deal with the rest. Yeah.
Hey, we started with Donald Trump, man. Look where we are today. And
yes.
The one and only thing I'm going to thank Hillary Clinton for is promoting Donald Trump and making him president.
What?
Yeah, the first 6 years that this happened, I cursed her every single day. I was wrong. Yeah. I'm a big enough man to admit that I was wrong.
We were all wrong.
I would love, from the bottom of my heart, Hillary Clinton, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Clinton, you for kind of undoing.
You saved the country.
Potentially undoing.
You saved the country.
To correct myself, 435 representatives run the country. So 400. So there's 535 people minus Josh Hawley that we have to deal with. And there might be more, there's probably more, but
there's probably more, but there are an incredible amount of veterans in Congress right now. But even I have seen a few of them take stock trade options, and I'm like, Crenshaw, I'm looking at you.
Yeah. So long story short, and here's the massive uphill battle. Not only we're still battle 1, get Trump elected. Yeah. And then 2, he's got to survive. He's got to make it through his fucking candidacy. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I am still, I don't know if you and I have a bet. I have a bet with somebody that the dude isn't going to make it. Okay. I don't think he's going to make it.
We don't have a bet, but
to January. I just had this terrible feeling that he's going to make it and then whacked. It's just, not. There's just too much, man. There's just too much going against him. So assuming 1, he's elected and that the election isn't stolen or rigged. 2, the man survives. 2, his candidacy isn't killed early within it. 3, now he's got to actually make gains. So the next big thing that he has to do is convince all of the people that hate him and are rallying against him that he's right, and that more importantly, that they were wrong and that he's right. He's got to convince them to elect people that are going to help him make America great again. That is I don't think that's reasonable. I don't think he could do that unless
a big task.
Elon Musk and RFK have something really big up their sleeves that can really demonstrate how bad this has gotten.
I think they do.
I hope so.
I think that they have been strategizing this, and I have been listening to RFK talk about how day 1 he has the people ready to go. So
yes, that's the thing is, though, I think they got 2 years. They have basically, this is say they have 18 months to prove that what they're doing is really about America first, and it's literally making all of our lives better. The only lives we should not give a shit about are the billionaires, right? Whatever. If they have problems with it, they're the least consequential of the masses. If
they pay most of our taxes, though.
Yes, but they are also the ones that are rallying super hard against Trump right now because they see the writing on the wall. So whatever. So I don't care about them, and I don't care about the message coming out of big media. I don't care. But they need to get through all of that. And X is maybe a good way to do it. Maybe maybe we need an X TV. I don't know. That's just actually covering what's actually happening in the government in real time. Unfiltered, C-SPAN, but cool because it's X-SPAN, right?
Yeah,
Like
X-SPAN. I agree with you. They have 2 years, right? The first 2 years, if they can actually be effective, do a good job, show the American people what they're trying to do, red wave happens. There's not a Democratic Party anymore. You know,
Maybe.
especially if they stand in the way and continue to do what they're doing. Really, truly, I think that the American people will see proof in the pudding and they'll be like, that's something I want to be a part of. Right. So I'm really genuinely hopeful that Trump continues to do what he's been doing the last year, moves forward, does a good job, shows the people what we can achieve, you know, that we're not a failed state, that we're not, here you go, China, take it over, be the next superpower.
Exactly.
You know?
Yep.
Because that's where we're at right now. Right now. Within the next 20 years, if we do not fix it this election cycle, China will be the next superpower.
It's you know, we can
I
talk
know their
about China.
economy's failing. It
is and it isn't. I drink the same thing, by the way. That's my favorite beverage. So Zach is just picked up and caressed a Safeway Select soda water, unflavored.
Mine is Signature.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Signature. It's literally my favorite. Okay, so here I'm going to rattle off 33 things that Bill Ackman listed why he's switching over. I'm going to try and get this to this so fast because we're trying to keep these podcasts shorter, but I think it's just put these in your head, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so things Bill Ackman is the reason why he's leaving the left. Here's the things that the DNC and the left has been doing and are pushing. 1, open borders, unvetted immigrants. 2, inflationary spending, rising deficit. 3, the chaotic Afghanistan withdrawal and the massive loss of life there. 4, excessive regulation stifling business. 5, release of violent criminals without bail. 6, decriminalizing shoplifting and promoting lawlessness. 7, anti-fracking policies, rising energy costs. 8, DEI ideologies dividing society. 9, gender fluidity education and harm to children's health. 10, support for riots, school closures for COVID-19. 11, anti-American, anti-Israel protests left unchecked. 12, exploding anti-Semitism with no action. 13, vaccine mandates censoring scientific dissent. Oh, shit. 14, censorship of free speech. 15, legal attacks on political opponents. 16, defunding police, loss of public safety. 17, subsidizing inferior tech, hurting innovation. 18, government overreach in private sector solutions. 19, banning gas-powered cars and stoves. 20, no response to terrorist attacks on Americans. 21, withholding arms from key Middle East allies. 22, lifting sanctions on adversaries and bad hostage deals. 23, removing terrorists from watch list. 24, lying about president's cognitive health. 25, ignoring unhealthy food policies. 26, proliferation of risky vaccines for children. 27, no liability for pharma industry, excessive vaccines, shit. 28, convincing minority youth they are victims. 29, inadequate protection for alternative candidates, like RFK would be the one here. 30, blocking alternative candidates from ballots. 31, backroom selection of Democratic nominee Kamala Harris. 32, choosing inferior candidates over better options. And 33, opposing voter ID and citizenship proof.
It's a good list. That's a really good list. What was 6 or 7 again?
Decriminalizing shoplifting, promoting lawlessness, and anti-fracking policies and the rising energy costs.
Okay. I will tell you that those probably are some of the biggest issues. I mean, everything on that list, key. It's a key issue, right? And I will also say that the food, right? Ignoring the food stuff, that's at the top of my list too. But how many stores did you just say earlier today were closing?
Oh my goodness.
Do you have that
I
data?
I do.
I mean, what the freaking hell is going on?
It's not good. All right, here we go. So, do you want me to rattle off some numbers here for you?
Yeah.
All right. So the CVS CEO is stepping down. And they're in the process of closing 900 stores. Walgreens announced it's closing 1,200 stores. Rite Aid filed for bankruptcy and is closing 800 stores. Walmart is closing 51 of their healthcare centers. 21 hospitals closed in 2024, and 700 more are at risk of closing due to these similar factors.
I had a hospital close near me. I had my insurance say, nah, we're not going to take you at this place anymore because rising costs, we can't afford it. And so they're renegotiating. And then so I went over to another hospital and they closed within 6 months. And I was like,
wow,
well, where the hell am I supposed to freaking get healthcare now?
Right.
This stuff is happening all around us because we are allowing people to go in and steal up to $1,000 freaking dollars from chains. So they're going to have to start making cuts. They're going to start making cuts in low economic areas. Okay. They're going to. You're going to have to drive fucking 30 minutes to find a damn store or a pharmacy. This stuff is insane in America. We should not be dealing with this. And the root fucking causes of it, right? High energy costs. That is a huge one. Looting in stores. That is huge. It is making it unaffordable because what is the store going to do to offset their losses? They're going to pass the buck back onto the consumer.
Right. Or they're just going to close it straight up. They're just going to close the store.
And even if they close the store to protect their bottom line, right? They're still going to raise prices. So now you got to drive farther to find a store and pay more.
Exactly. It's terrible. And right now, healthcare is already ridiculously expensive. And right here, this list that I just said is killing the cheapest access to healthcare. Just the home remedies, the things you can do at home to soothe the pain, to treat your kids, to treat yourself. And this going away. And like you said, it's in the less economically developed parts of this country. The lower economic, sections of town and whatnot are where all these closures are happening. And these are the people who desperately need them.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yep.
It's not good. And this is
pretty soon they're going to start putting walls up around the rich areas. So then you're going to have to get a passport.
It's already happening.
Then you're going to have to get a passport to leave the low economic zones to go to the rich areas so you can buy your medicine.
What are they calling that in the Middle East and out of Dubai or whatever? In out there, the wall or something like that.
I can't remember what they're doing.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like the new Halo. It's like the on the ground Halo. It's this giant mega structure that's like 500 feet tall, extends a whole bunch, and it's supposed to survive, quote unquote, survive the apocalypse, which we may or may not be approaching quickly. But it does the exact same thing. You have to get into this thing. You have to be a card carrying member, and to be a card carrying member, you got to be fucking rich, and then you get in, and then you get all the benefits of everything inside.
Yeah, Dubai's got an insane population over there. I mean, they really do. Like, you cannot be a citizen of Dubai unless you're insanely rich. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are not citizens of that country that live there and work there. So,
like, don't be wrong. I mean, even like everybody gets a cut of the oil industry in that whole region. It's not just Dubai and Saudi Arabia.
Right. There's an incredible amount of trickle down economics in that area. Right.
Oh yeah.
It really truly is. Like, you go there, you're going to make a lot of money, but you don't have any deciding power because you are not the dude.
Exactly.
You're not a citizen.
No.
So in when Carlos was on, we were talking about class warfare and, the class divides and stuff. And what we're doing in America is how you solidify the class divide. You will have the haves and the have-nots here in America. You're going to see the same things happening here. So we really need to watch what the fuck we're doing and put the right people in power so we can reverse this shit.
And this is when...
Because it's a very slippery slope.
This is when you move to places like Idaho, rural Texas. You just get away from all the madness. You move to Alaska and just, have your local doctors, your local dentists, your local, food producers, and you just say, fuck it. I'm not even going to participate in your madness. We're just going to come over here and just do our own thing. There's enough information out there to build, to have your own power and water. You don't have to be totally isolated from technology, but you can totally cut yourself off from all this madness if it comes to that. God help us if it does, because that's not a good time. That's not a good time.
No.
I'm ready for it though.
I'm
ready.
I'm gonna say that 2019 was the last best year that we're gonna have, and
well, we're gonna find out.
Quickly.
What's the countdown? What's our countdown?
14 days, I want to say.
Oh shit! We got 2 weeks until the election. Dude, this country is going to change in 2 weeks. It's crazy. In 2 weeks, something is happening.
So November 5th is exactly 2 weeks away.
Oh my God, man.
Like 2 weeks from today, November 4th, me and Jesse will be having a podcast talking about what's going on. And then we will see what November 5th brings. I might be at a bar.
One way or another.
Just get blasted or something.
You got to get your ass up here, man. You can figure out a way to come up here, and we can do this shit live.
I'm gonna call in sick. I'm gonna be like, boss, I can't fly down to Lehigh. I gotta
fly out of Seattle. Fly out at one of our airports up here, man, and we'll just do it live. That'd be the best thing ever. Anyway, it's the 5th is going to be a different day. It is going to be ulcer inducing for me. I'm going to have a mental breakdown in the next 2 weeks. I think
my stress levels are like
this is like the big game, man. This is like, waiting for the World Cup. This is like the World Cup on steroids.
This is our World Cup.
Yeah, because the thing is like, unlike the World Cup, the United States is actually participating in this one, right? And we are coming to the climax of perhaps the end of American democracy. It is so insane to think this. And people don't even understand it. If you're the average American, actually, I think maybe the average American does understand it. And they're like, oh shit, this is democracy on the line.
I definitely think that there's been more people voting and being present in this election cycle than at any other time in America.
Oh yeah, definitely. And there is a section, I think it's the more elderly. The older you get, the less inclined you are to believe that the problem has gotten as bad as it has, and that the Democratic Party is as insane as they are. They're literally Joker-esque, willing to do whatever it takes, kill as many people as it takes to stay in power.
I've never believed in lizard people as more as I do today.
I don't know anything about lizard people, but it's impossible to talk to some of these other guys because they just don't believe it. And even though you can walk them through and show them, look at what's happened. I'm gonna send this list to one of those people that we were talking about, those 33 reasons, and see what they have to say. See if they can dismiss all 33 as hearsay. And then, even though Bill Ackman is it was one of the more affluent, Democratic, folks, maybe that's enough. I don't know how you convince them.
Doubt it.
We started off this podcast 30 minutes ago, and we were talking about what is, like, how I changed my mind, and I still don't know. I don't know. J13 happened, and it was literally a shot, but I don't, like everybody else, all my friends, all my counterparts that are still hardcore, blue ride or die, they're still blue. We all saw the same thing. Somehow, I don't know what it was.
Resonated for you.
I don't know what it was.
Just resonated for you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I
don't know either.
I'm having a hard time articulating my feelings right now, Jesse.
I'm excited for the next 2 weeks. Like it's
going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild ride, and I hope we shoot into November 5th with a win. Like, the home team needs it.
Oh my God, dude! When so now they know they can't just pump in all the votes at once, right? They know they can't do that between 1 and 5 a.m. They know they can't do that because we'll see the spike again, and then just like that spike on the paper, there's going to be pikes on the ground with people's heads on top of them. There's no fucking way state election board leaders are going to survive this. There's just no way.
Did you see what happened in Georgia today?
No.
So early voting opened up.
Oh yes,
right? They had their mail-in ballots trickling in, and then early voting opened in, and Donald Trump jumped up 24 points.
And that is, by the way, early voting is dominated by the left.
Yeah.
The left. If you look at every election where you have early voting, mail-in ballots, shit like that, it skews hardcore left.
Yeah.
And then the Republicans catch up on election night.
Yep.
The fact that Republicans are already so far ahead is telling.
It is. I'm hoping that the betting markets are accurate and we're up 60%.
Poly market,
And
you better
Kamala
not be
Harris
fucking with me.
That's what I'm saying. Is like everything that I'm looking at is a Trump win.
Yeah,
A massive Trump win.
everybody.
A massive win for the red wave, hopefully coming in and giving Donald Trump the 2 years that he needs to prove his policies.
Exactly.
Lowering our utilities, lowering our energy bills, freaking making the economy better. I was listening to an interview with a barbershop guy, and he was talking about how his energy bill went from $2,100 a month to $15,000 a month.
What?
I was like, what the hell is that?
How does that even happen?
I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. Hopefully he wasn't mistaken, because that's a bad zero mistake. Decimal placing. But I was like, wow, that's insane.
It's like that across the
Even
country,
Donald Trump
everywhere.
was like, what?
Yeah. This is the reality we're living in, man. It's ridiculous. Just look at your tax returns. So did you make the point that you wanted to make earlier? You wrote it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That was it. I just wanted to make the point that nothing else makes sense to me than money.
Mm-mm.
Then Donald Trump is fucking with people's money at a high level. And that is why you see this concerted effort to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And why finally the gloves come off and they start shooting at him. Right?
Literally. Like, we're not, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I don't want to.
And everybody's going to be like, oh, it's just, random lone wolves. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not. There's too much evidence out there. There's too many coincidences. I won't say evidence, coincidences. I don't believe in coincidences. Not when they're that in line. I don't believe in it.
Yeah,
the left is too good at engineering chaos. They are too good at engineering these coincidences.
Yep. Yep. Well, here's some more engineering for you, and we got to wrap this up if we're gonna attempt to keep this in close to 30 minutes. We're already at almost 40, but we just run away with these things. But here's another thing to consider, and this is breaking in Michigan right now. Okay, people are counting votes, and there are 500,000 more voter registrations in Michigan than they have voters. 500,000 more. That's a crazy buffer. Where did that come from, and what are they going to do about it? Well, let me tell you. All right, Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. Well, one, they are not going to address it till after the election, and two, she said, and I quote, "We will come for you if you try to withhold your certification results." So she's threatening people with legal action, aka immediate imprisonment, if they don't certify their elections, even if they think there's fraud. This woman's psycho. And this is Michigan. This is an important state because it's swinging right.
I really hope that they tell her to pound sand and they don't certify their elections until they have gone through and done their due diligence. Because fuck them. They want to slow walk elections. They want to make everything take weeks to get our results.
Yes.
I don't care. It's better than having Donald Trump go home with an L and us doing another 4 years and then finding out 4 years later that he won.
Right.
Again.
Right. Well, guess what? She says there's nothing to worry about. The election is not going to be finished by midnight on the 4th. It will take until the 5th, at least, according to Jocelyn Benson. Yeah. So she's already prepping, just like in Georgia. They're prepping the people. They're prepping us to just anticipate late counting into the week.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway, any closing thoughts?
No. Nope. I'm going to get all fired up and we'll have another 10 minutes.
Easily. All right. Well, let's just do this all over again tomorrow. How about that?
That sounds good to me, buddy.